It didn't take long for the first book published by Stephen King to find its way to the big screen. Movies and TV shows based on the works of Stephen King have been entertaining us for as long as 50 years. This list will include all his work that was adapted for the screen, including works written under his pen name. 1976, Carrie, based on the novel of the same name. 1979, Salem's Lot, an American television miniseries adaptation based on the novel of the same name. 1980, The Shining, based on the novel of the same name. 1982, Creepshow, based on the short series Weeds and the Crate, the rest is original work for the film. 1983, Cujo, based on the novel of the same name. 1983, The Dead Zone, based on the novel of the same name. 1983, Christine, based on the novel of the same name. 1984, Children of the Corn, based on the short story of the same name. 1984, Firestarter, based on the novel of the same name from 1980. 1984, The Word Processor of the Gods, an episode of the anthology series Tales from the Dark Side, based on the short story of the same name. 1985, Cat's Eye, based on the short stories Quitters Incorporated and The Ledge, the rest is original work for the film. 1985, Silver Bullet, based on the novella Cycle of the Werewolf. 1986, Maximum Overdrive, based on the short story Trucks. 1986, Stand By Me, based on the novella The Body. 1986, Grandma, an episode of the anthology series The Twilight Zone, based on the short story of the same name. 1987, Creepshow 2, based on the short story The Raft, the rest is original work for the film. 1987, The Running Man, based loosely on the novel of the same name, published under the pseudonym Richard Bachman. 1987, Sorry, Right Number, a teleplay written by Stephen King for an episode of the horror anthology series Tales from the Dark Side. It is the 9th episode of the 4th season. 1989, Pet Sematary, based on the novel of the same name. 1990, It, two-part psychological horror drama miniseries based on the novel of the same name. 1990, Tales from the Dark Side, the movie, based on the short story The Cat from Hell, the rest is original work for the film. 1990, Graveyard Shift, based on the short story of the same name. 1990, Misery, based on the novel of the same name. 1991, The Moving Finger, an episode of the anthology series Monsters, based on the short story of the same name. 1991, Sometimes They Come Back, made-for-television horror film based on the 1974 short story of the same name. 1991, Golden Years, an American television science fiction thriller miniseries written and created by Stephen King. 1992, Sleepwalkers, original screenplay. 1992, The Lawn Mower Man, based loosely on the short story of the same name. 1993, The Dark Half, based on the novel of the same name. 1993, Needful Things, based on the novel of the same name. 1993, The Tommyknockers, television miniseries based on the 1987 novel of the same name. 1994, The Shawshank Redemption, based on the novella Rita Hayworth and Shawshank Redemption. 1994, The Stand, post-apocalyptic television miniseries based on the 1978 novel of the same name. 1995, The Mangler, based on the short story of the same name. 1995, Dolores Claiborne, based on the novel of the same name. 1995, The Langoliers, a horror miniseries consisting of 2 episodes of 1.5 hours each, based on the novella by Stephen King from the 4-part anthology book 4 Past Midnight. 1996, Thinner, based on the novel of the same name, published under the pseudonym Richard Bachman. 1997, The Night Flyer, based on the short story of the same name. 1997, The Shining, a 3-episode horror television miniseries based on the 1977 Stephen King novel of the same name. 1997, Trucks, a television horror film based on Stephen King's short story Trucks, which also served as the source material for an early film Maximum Overdrive. 1997, Quicksilver Highway, a television comedy horror film directed by Mick Garris. It is based on Clive Barker's short story The Body Politic and Stephen King's 1992 short story Chattery Teeth. The film was originally shown on television before being released on home media. 1997, The Revelations of Becca Paulson, an episode of the anthology series The Outer Limits, based on the short story of the same name. The episode is based on the short story The Revelations of Becca Paulson by Stephen King, first published in 1984. The character Becca Paulson is also in the Stephen King novel The Tommyknockers from 1987. 1998, Apt Pupil, based on the novella of the same name. 1998 Woe. Woe is a 52-episode Indian horror thriller television series. It is a Hindi-language TV show adaptation of Stephen King's epic horror novel It. 1998 Chinga, the 10th episode of the 5th season of the American science fiction television series The X-Files. It was written by Stephen King and series creator Chris Carter. 1999 The Green Mile, based on the novel of the same name. 1999 Storm of the Century, screenplay written for 3 episodes by Stephen King. 2001 Hearts in Atlantis, based on the novella Low Men in Yellow Coats. 2002 Carrie, a supernatural horror television film based on the 1974 novel of the same name. 2002 The Dead Zone, a science fiction drama television series based on the novel of the same name. 2002 Rose Red, an American television miniseries scripted by Stephen King. 2003 Dreamcatcher, based on the novel of the same name. 2004 Secret Window, based on the novella Secret Window, Secret Garden. 2004 Riding the Bullet, based on the novella of the same name. 2004 Salem's Lot, 2-part television miniseries. It is the second television adaptation of Stephen King's 1975 vampire novel of the same name and a remake of the first version. 2006 Desperation, a horror television film based on Stephen King's 1996 novel of the same name. King himself wrote the teleplay. 2006 Nightmares and Dreamscapes, 8-episode anthology series on TNT based on short stories written by Stephen King. Episodes based on stories from the Nightmares and Dreamscapes collection are Amni's Last Case, You Know They Got a Hell of a Band, The End of the Whole Mess, The Fifth Quarter, and Crouch End. The rest of the episodes are adaptations of The Road Virus Heads North and Autopsy Room 4, collected in Everything's Eventual, and Battleground from the anthology Night Shift. 2007 1408, based on the short story of the same name. 2007 The Mist, based on the novella of the same name. 2007 No Smoking, Indian Hindi-language thriller film loosely based on the 1978 short story Quitters Incorporated. 2009 Dolan's Cadillac, based on the novella of the same name. 2009 Children of the Corn, supernatural horror slasher film made for television. It is based on the 1977 short story of the same name, the 8th installment of the film series and a remake of the 1984 film. 2010 Haven, an American-Canadian supernatural drama television series loosely based on the Stephen King novel The Colorado Kid from 2005. 2011 Bag of Bones, an American horror television miniseries adaptation of Stephen King's 1998 novel of the same name. 2013 Carrie, based on the novel of the same name. 2013 Under the Dome, an American science fiction mystery drama television series based on Stephen King's 2009 novel of the same name. 2014 Mercy, based on the short story Grandma. 2014 A Good Marriage, based on the novella of the same name. 2014 Big Driver, a crime thriller TV film based on the novella of the same name by Stephen King, published in his collection Full Dark, No Stars from 2010. 2016 Cell, based on the novel of the same name. 2016 11/22/63, an American science fiction thriller miniseries based on the 2011 novel of the same name. 2017 The Dark Tower, based on the series of the same name. 2017 It, based on the novel of the same name. 2017 Gerald's Game, based on the novel of the same name. 2017 1922, based on the novella of the same name. 2017 The Mist, an American science fiction horror thriller television series based on the 1980 horror novella of the same name. 2017 Mr. Mercedes, an American crime drama television series based on the Bill Hodges trilogy by Stephen King, which consists of Mr. Mercedes, Hinder's Keepers, and End of Watch. 2019 Pet Sematary, based on the novel of the same name. 2019 It, Chapter 2. 2019 In the Tall Grass, based on the novella of the same name, co-authored with his son Joe Hill. 2019 Dr. Sleep, based on the novel of the same name. 2019 Grey Matter, an episode of the 2019 anthology series Creepshow, based on the short story of the same name. 2020 The Outsider, an American psychological horror crime drama TV series based on the 2018 novel of the same name. 2020 Survivor Type, an animated special of the 2019 anthology series Creepshow based on the short story of the same name. 2020 The Stand, an American post-apocalyptic fantasy television miniseries based on the 1978 novel of the same name and the remake of the 1994 adaptation. 2020 Children of the Corn. The film is the third adaptation of Stephen King's short story and the 11th installment in the Children of the Corn series. 2021 Lizzie's Story, American horror drama miniseries based on the 2006 novel of the same name. The series is written by King. 2021 Chapel White, an American horror television series based on the short story Jerusalem's Lot, first published in King's 1978 collection Night Shift. The story was also printed in the illustrated 2005 edition of King's 1975 novel Salem's Lot. 2022 Firestarter, based on the novel of the same name. 2022 Mr. Harrigan's Phone, based on a collection of 4 novellas called If It Bleeds, released in 2020. 2023 Salem's Lot, based on the novel of the same name. 2023 The Boogeyman, based on the short story of the same name. Adaptations announced in form of a movie or series: The Breathing Method, Christine, The Dark Half, Elevation, From a Buick 8, The Girl Who Loved Tom Gordon, The Little Green God of Agony, The Long Walk, Mile 81, Rest Stop, The Running Man, Revival, Throttle, The Tommy Knockers, The Institute, The Jaunt, Joyland, Revelations, Sleeping Beauties, The Talisman, The 10 O'Clock People, Fairy Tale, The Life of Chuck, Billy Summers. Which one was your favorite? Thank you for watching. If you liked this video, you can support the channel by subscribing so you don't miss future videos.